Intensely heavy rainfall and significant, potentially life-threatening flash flooding are expected to develop about parts of the North Tropical Coast from this evening, continuing over the weekend. We have a number of warnings already current, with further warnings expected this weekend, so let me take you through the key risks. Starting with a look at today's thunderstorm outlook. We'll focus on the yellow area on this map, which shows us where severe thunderstorms are possible. Now that covers the stretch of coast between Cooktown and Mackay, some of those inland areas as well. In that area, we may see storms becoming severe through this morning and afternoon, producing heavy rainfall locally that could lead to flash flooding. We will issue warnings as needed. As we move into this evening though, that risk of heavy rainfall becomes a lot more focused on the stretch of coast that extends from Cairns all the way down to Bowen. That risk is really flagged in our severe weather warning. It's telling us that we may see these heavy rainfall totals even away from thunderstorm activity. Now this risk from this evening is flagging potential 6-hourly rainfall totals of as much as 180 millimetres. Now that's an incredible amount of rain to fall in such a short space of time, and as we move into the weekend, we're going to see those rain rates only increasing. We may in fact see intense rainfall across parts of this coastline over the next few days, particularly between Innisfail and Ayr, which could lead to life-threatening flash flooding. Now that's more than just water moving over roads and footpaths, possibly coming into your home. That is flooding that occurs very quickly and can pose a sudden and significant risk to your life and personal safety. As well as the flash flooding risk, we're also going to see riverine flooding becoming increasingly likely over the weekend. We already have a number of minor flood warnings in place for the Mulgrave River, the Tully, Murray and Don rivers, with flood watches extending along this stretch of coast. Now over the weekend, as those incredible amounts of rain move through our water catchments, we are likely to see many of these flood watch areas and warnings upgraded to moderate to major flooding across a broad stretch of this coast. Riverine flooding is more long-lasting than flash flooding, which means that we could see these riverine flooding impacts continuing well into next week. So to recap those hazards quickly, we are likely to see dangerous, life-threatening flash flooding occurring from this evening into the weekend where those highest rainfall totals occur. We are likely to see prolonged riverine flooding developing this weekend, but continuing into next week as our river catchments respond. We're also likely to see damage to your property, your personal property, as well as crops and vegetation as that water moves across our coastline. Now, the driving factor for all of this wet weather is a low pressure system that's sitting to the southeast of Cairns. That is the tropical low 13U, and it's dragging in a lot of moisture and pushing it across that part of the coast. As we move through tonight and across the weekend, we can also see that it's dragging in some very strong winds and directing them along the same stretch of coast too. That means that in addition to the rain, we could also see marine gales, some locally damaging wind gusts, and the possibility of damaging surf along this stretch of coast this weekend. The rain is really going to be the main focus though. Even as we go through Saturday and Sunday and into Monday, we're likely to see heavy falls still occurring about parts of this stretch of coast as this low pressure system refuses to move away. It is going to result in very high rainfall totals across the period to the end of Monday. We've got the colours, the purple and black colours, showing the top end of our scale, well in excess of 300 millimetres likely between Innisfail and Mackay. In fact, some isolated locations could see more than 500 or 600 millimetres across the course of this weekend, depending on exactly where that low pressure system is sitting. This weekend presents a significant and dangerous risk of rainfall and flooding for those living and moving through the North Tropical Coast. It is essential to keep up to date with the latest forecasts and warnings via the Bureau's website, the Bomb Weather app and via our social media. Stay safe and we'll catch you in the next update.